Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video, and today I just wanted to start off by thanking you all because I went on vacation and I was gone for like 5 days or so, and I actually managed to gain like 500 subscribers while I was gone, which is just insane for considering the size of my channel. The past few videos that I uploaded got a ton of views, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much, guys, and welcome everyone who is new. So today I'm going to be doing a video not necessarily directly related to Pking because I'm not going to be PKing in it. However, it's mostly to help you out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go from around 60 combat-ish up to around 80 combat, and I'm just going to kind of let you all know, in my opinion, what the best build is at each combat, and maybe kind of explain it a little bit compared to the other builds of the combat, so that if you're looking to build an account anywhere between that bracket, then hopefully this guide can help you decide what stats kind of you want to go for, and maybe just kind of give you another opinion. So I am willing to do this for another combat bracket. If you want me to do it for like 85 to 100 or something after this, make sure to let me know, but I figured this did kind of get a little long. So yeah, hopefully you all do enjoy. Okay, so the first combat here that I'm going to start off with is the 60 combat range, and this kind of applies for everything. I'm probably going to talk about intervals of 5, so you can kind of think about like obviously 58 or 61 or 62 would apply to like similar rules as this. But for me, in my opinion, 60 combat, G Maulers are just by far the best account. Obby Maulers are, in my opinion at least, they're awful. I mean, it's so easy to just not die to an Obby Mauler. Like, as long as you know their max, you can just simply eat like over their max and you won't die. And G Maulers just have so much more kill potential. And at this combat, you can make a nice little 13 prey G Mauler. In my opinion, 60 combat, I mean, 13 prey is pretty much the way to go. That's just about like the only thing that people would probably like argue about. I think most people can agree that G Maulers are good. If this is a great account, if you've never PK'd before, this is definitely something I'd recommend. You can build these stats in like, I don't know, probably like less than a week, probably like 4 days easily. And they're pretty cheap to make, and you really don't have to do much cannoning if you don't want to. These stats would probably use a little bit of cannoning, but obviously you could just be 79 range with 74 HP if you don't want to cannon to 83 or something like that. But yeah, 60 combat, anywhere in that range, I would definitely recommend going for a 13 prey G Mauler. So at 65 combat, you'll probably start to get targets with DDS and things like that, besides G Maul. However, at 65 combat, really G Maulers are just definitely by far the way to go. 13 prayer is, in my opinion, the better option here. You could also go 31 prayer and use like a Beering Eye or like a +1 like Obby Maul and Obby Neck or something like that. But personally, I have a 64 combat G Mauler, and 13 prayer is what I have, and I really like it. I did a lot of cannoning on there. As you can see, like you could have 91 range and 85 strength with only 80 HP at 65 combat, which is super powerful, and you will just destroy DDSers. You'll get like some like 31 prey DDSers with like 65 strength. You'll have 20 strength levels on them, and yeah, that account is just really strong for 65 combat, and much stronger than any other really build you can make. Okay, and believe it or not, at 70 combat, G Maulers are still the best build. So personally, 31 prayer and like around 90 strength is probably what I would go for on a 70 combat G Mauler. You'll probably find a lot of other like DDSers and maybe even low prey AGSers, and I think it's worth saying now at 70 combat, it is not worth it making a low prey AGSer. AGSers are not good builds. They have 15 higher attack and they gain almost no kill potential. Obviously, Godsword Smack is good, but the Obby Neck and Obby Maul hits like just as high on a G Mauler normally. For example, if I'm 70 combat AGSer and I might max like a 40 swing, 70 combat G Maulers will max like 42 Obby Maul and Neck or something stupid, you know? So it really doesn't even actually give you mini max hits, and then you also obviously have lower strength. So I wouldn't recommend it in AGSer. If you really want to go for a variety, definitely go like low prey DDSer or something like that. You could consider 52 prayer at 70 combat to try and get smites, but I don't think you'd be smiting very much. So personally, I would stick to 13 or 31 prayer, or maybe even 44 if you want to get yourself like a fire cape with overheads or something like that. But yeah, G Maulers are still better, and these are about the stats that I would go for. Okay, so at 75 combat, we kind of start to move away from the G Mauler meta. G Maulers are still probably the best build at this combat, I would have to say, because I mean, G Maul is just the best spec weapon, so having the higher strength level than the DDSers is better. However, this combat bracket, a lot of people who have 31 prayer and stuff, if you're a DDSer or like you're 60 attack and you have declaws and stuff, you'll be able to get a lot of smites on 31 prayer accounts, which is awesome. So I would definitely be recommending 52 prayer at 75 combat. If you, for whatever reason, are an AGSer or maybe you're a DDSer. I mean, you could stay 31 prayer or something like that. You could also go like maxed G Mauler with 31 prayer. However, personally, I would like sacrifice the few strength levels and HP levels just to have 52 prayer, because I think it's beneficial at this combat bracket. However, at this combat bracket, you also get a very unique build, which I have seen before in the wilderness, but it's definitely not common by any means, which is just a very low level account with Vengeance. And you can actually get heavy ballista as well. So many people have managed to do Monkey Madness 2 without overhead, so it's definitely achievable, and I've seen people using this. So you can be 75 combat, and you can have Venge, obviously, and you can also have around 88 strength. And many people choose to go 41 defense and 13 prayer if they're building something very low combat like this with Vengeance, because obviously you can save a combat, but you can only get rune gloves instead of barrows. So 42 defense and 15 prayer unlocks barrows gloves, so that's kind of a choice that if people wanted to go for it, you know, you could make that choice. But yeah, it's a very unique account, and they're definitely strong. Heavy ballista is definitely powerful. I know a lot of people don't use heavy ballista to Gmaul these days, but I definitely plan on using it in a video soon, because it is still an extremely powerful combo. And when people do use it against me, I definitely am worried, because it's really strong, and I'm not sure why people don't use it as much anymore. So at this combat, you'd be fighting pretty much only pures. So you could just be using heavy ballista and Gmaul against as low as level 70s, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, this is definitely a cool account that I would recommend if you're looking for something unique. Otherwise, 75 combat, stick to DDSers and Gmaulers with 52 prayer, in my opinion. Okay, so now we're on to my favorite combat bracket, which is around that 80 combat range. Pures are obviously still really valuable at 80 combat. Claws to Gmaul and stuff. Claws are good against defense and against 1 defense, so those are good for 60 attack pures. Obviously, AGS and Elder Maul if you're 75 attack. G-Maulers can still fight, or like will still do very good, but if they come across defense, then it's kind of, I don't know, it's not very fun to fight defense with just G-Maul and 1 defense. But yeah, DDSers and AGSers are pretty similar at this combat. They have pretty much the same kill potential, and a lot of people also have Smite at this combat. I would recommend going Smite. I obviously was an 83 combat AGSer with 31 prayer, and it just wasn't that fun. You know, I would just prefer to be 52. I think it's just much more enjoyable, but it can be very profitable besides just like emblems and stuff. But moving on from pures is my favorite part of 80 combat, which is the rune pures that you can have. So at 80 combat, I actually have an account called 60 Space 42, and it's a rune pure at 81 combat, and it's a 91 strength 15 prey DDSer, which is awesome. I mean, the account is just such a beast. I've made a lot of videos on it in the past, and the account is so good. Now with the Void nerf, I pretty much mostly get like Void targets or other rune pures who I like have a stat advantage on. As you can see, both accounts that I've put up here for just like example stats are cannoned, and I would recommend cannoning if you were to build an account like this. But just for reference, my 91 strength, 81 combat, 15 prey DDSer max is 33 DDS, which is the same as a max pure that's 60 combat, which is like, or not 60 combat, that's 60 attack, which is about 82 combat. So I'm actually 1 combat lower. I have the same max, and I have Vengeance, and I have Defense, which is pretty sick. I am lower HP, and like, you know, obviously I'm not a pure, but whatever. The account itself is so powerful, and I'm 60 attack. Just imagine if you were 50 attack and you had like 8 higher strength levels, or for example in this situation 6 higher and 6 higher HP, something like that. So as you can see, these accounts are extremely strong, and I actually have a guide on my channel if you are interested. But yes, I would definitely recommend if you're looking for a cool account to build like one of these around 80 combat, and I guarantee you will have a ton of fun. Alright guys, I hope this video was helpful for anyone who is looking to make a new account, or even if it's just like your first account, you're looking to get into Pking. Hopefully this gives you a rough idea of what kind of stats you probably want to be going for. If you do want to see 85 to 100 combat or something like that, feel free to let me know. And if there's also any other accounts that I totally forgot about, feel free to also leave those down below. I'm sure people will be checking the comment section and stuff like that. I didn't really leave any accounts focused on unskulling. There's definitely some builds that you can do, like a staff that had pures and low combat AGSers, which I kind of talked about, but I didn't really put those in there because I don't think they're really viable in BH, because they're just not very fun to PK on. No one wants to fight you, and yeah, it's not very enjoyable to use. So hopefully this was helpful, and I will catch you all in the next video.